All right, all right. Good morning, good morning. It is Thursday. It is 6:32. It is January 18th. Hope everyone's feeling well, getting ready for their day. My name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. This is the 6:32 club today. Sorry, I'm a little late. My left foot was a little frozen. I had to get 2 fingers, feeling better again. And, I'm kidding. Just a little icy out there. Taking out the garbage. You got to go walk little steps. When it's icy out, take little steps. You don't slip on your ass. Excuse my French. But anyway, I feel like a lot of stocks have been slipping on their butt the past week or two. We've got a very have and have not market, right? Some of the semis have been strong. NVIDIA, AMD dips have been bought. Very, very impressive. Micron came into the game. You have Taiwan Semiconductor, giving a little lift this morning. And overall, the action hasn't been great, but the SPYs held the 21-day. We've been playing with the 8-day. Yesterday we talked about maybe buying the IWMs besides everything else that you're doing. So with that said, futures are up about 12 to 15 handles. Europe's up small. China stopped going down. 5-year lows in China. If I were you, I would call your money manager and say, hey, if we have an asset allocation plan, which some of you do, make sure it's like 60% stocks, equities, maybe 20% bonds. Tell them to start finding something that correlates to the Shanghai in China and start putting monthly flows. Chances are you'll get some alpha. It might take a little while. And then you should do a little gold in Bitcoin. Maybe do 50% equities, whatever it is, that pie chart. Anyway, if you trade for a living, though, and you need to net money every day, it's been a little tricky. Little tricky. But things to do. There's always things to do if you get yourself prepared and you get yourself situated. And you also get yourself in a good mood. So this way you start the day fresh. Maybe like Billy Joel. I'm dating myself a little bit. Alexa off. All right. So anyway, last 20 minutes of yesterday, the S&P came off the lows and closed pretty strong. Here's your 21-day. Last time we hit the 21-day was January 5th, and then we had to move back towards the upper end of the range where we weren't ready to break through. The AD lines weren't strong enough. It just maybe was too soon. Maybe we need to see earnings. Maybe we need more clarity from the Fed. Bottom line is, there's this like, I guess everyone's just really not sure. Earnings season, is it going to be too light? Are we slowing down too much? Are the P's too high in the market? What's going to propel us to the next level? All the things that traders think about, as we try and navigate the week to week, month to month. And at this point, again, yesterday, take a closer look, and you do see that we held the 21-day. The 8-day is curling down a little bit closer to 47.44, and we'll see what today brings, if early strength holds or fades. If you go to the SPYs, you'll see that another bottom tail here. 469.87 is our new point of reference on the week. Closed pretty strong. Some of you took overnights. You're getting paid. If you a little bit more flexible and reduced, it is what it is. The SPYs right now aren't up a whole hell of a lot. This is 474, so we're opening above yesterday's high. This gap is now gone. We filled it, which is nice. What's it called? The 8-day, which is right here, is what? That's approximately 470, just say 474-ish. So this might be some resistance. So we'll see. So if what I do is when you take overnights, you always want to reduce when a gap is in your favor, and then figure out if it's going to continue. Again, where's the SPYs right now? 474. So coming right into the 8-day. Then you have 476.61, and then here's the prior highs. The Qs yesterday also held the 21-day, came off lows towards the end of the day, opening above the prior high. The Qs right now are what? Let's see. The Qs are up 273, which is about 409.92. So opening, you have 413, 411. Now this is 410-ish. So will this be a lower high again? At this point, if you took stuff and you bought the dip and you bought versus a 30-minute low, then you're getting paid this morning. I didn't put that much on. I also had to leave towards the end of the day, so I'm a little more flat-footed besides some options. So with that said, also we talked about the IWM yesterday, buying it into the 187, 188 area right here at the 630 club yesterday. It was like from 205 down to 187, 188. Probably a good spot to buy for cash flow. If you look right now, the IWM is it's up $1. It's not really leading. It's above this 190.11. Has some room to 192 if it wants it. As far as the best names out there, Nvidia just is, just every dip's been viable. I got to give it to Chillo from the Alpha team yesterday. He was all over it. Little red dog reversal, or it went up below 549, came back above, closed near the highs. Now it's opening above this, 568. Wow, what a name. We were all over this, right around this 505. If you played it, congratulations. We had 2 maxed out call spreads, 510 by 530s, then 520s by 540s. Then in the stock the majority of the time. I did get out into this move yesterday, and I traded it yesterday, and unfortunately I don't have it overnight. I wish I did, because that would make my morning a lot easier. AMD, I think Monday we talked about it. I'm like, grab some as it gets through 151. The gap was protected. Look at this green candle, closed near the highs of the day. So that doesn't show you weakness. And now AMD's up 5. Wow. That I remember when they were saying AMD, kept AMD in business just so Intel wouldn't have a monopoly. P.S. AMD is friggin' in fuego. Holy cow. Good stuff there. I think yesterday or 2 days ago we talked about MU breaking above this little wedge pattern. It it kind of held it yesterday. It was a little wishy-washy. Bottom line is this has been one of the better semis also. I actually have options on it, so that's going to help my day. Let's see what this looks like. MU right now is up $1.50, 84.79. That's nice. 85.21 is the prior day high. Gets above that, there's room. Again, Taiwan Semiconductor, is helping this all along. In mega cap tech, Microsoft's been the place to be. Last week, I'd be like, Red Dog, what's your favorite play? Where are you the most concentrated? I'm like, Microsoft. And now Microsoft is still, like, as much as it kind of felt like frenetic, where it went up fast and came in, bottom line is it's above the 8-day. It's one of the few mega cap techs that made a higher high so far this year. And if you go back and take a look right now, Microsoft is up 3, not quite above 394. But if you bought the dip and you looked at it, went below the prior low and reclaimed it, held the 8-day, and you went back, you're following relative strength rules and you're trying to stay with this trade, which hasn't been the easiest to stay with. Microsoft up 3 is nice. Trim and trail and see how it goes. Amazon was very tricky, but if you look at the pecking order, so Microsoft held the 8-day, probably will make a new move high sooner. Amazon pulled back, held the 21-day. It's opening in here. It's still rebuilding. I did see some news that Amazon will be starting to charge for Alexa. That's interesting. An AI-powered Alexa. So Alexa's kind of, I guess an assistant, but I guess Alexa's going to do a lot more. Like, Alexa, play Red Dog's favorite song. Let's see if she knows.
Red Dog by Goody Mob from Apple Music.
Oh, no. All right, anyway. AI is interesting. Definitely. Alexa off. Anyway, so the pecking order. Okay, back to that. So I would think Amazon might be something you could add to after the open. Google. Also, look at the size of this tail. Went down to the 21-day. They had to stop everybody out in the first 30 minutes. This is still building. I don't expect this to make a new move high in the next day or so. But it's been some decent action. Decent action there. Apple's been really hard. Some will say, hey, Red Dog, remember the double top? I'm like, yeah, I remember the double top. 198, pushed through 199. Big gap down to start the year. There's been like 4 different downgrades. Bad news galore, but PS, a little double bottom here. We'll see. It's definitely not where the action is. Oh, it's up 3 this morning. Look at that, 186. So That's interesting. So if you took Apple with this red dog reversal, it's coming close to this gap here. It's above that 184. I haven't seen Apple up 3 and change in a while. That's interesting. Markets are always interesting, aren't they? Wow. That's all right. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if that holds up. Tesla's been the worst one. Tesla was, although it didn't break this 212 area, still, you had a small red dog reversal after an active sequence to the downside, a bearish engulfing candle that got us out. I was long yesterday, and I took it home long, and it just felt so weak, so I got out of it. And now today it's up 3 points. If you're feeling it, if you had a lot of longs coming in yesterday and you're coming a little bit more flat-footed, it happens. It is what it is. Shake it off, and then move on. Shake it off, move on. Move on, shake it off. It's only January 18th. A lot of days of trading in front of us in 2024, and hopefully a lot of days in trading, for your life. Someone's like, "Hey, Red Dog, I love that chart that you posted on Twitter. This one." You know what? Because this shows how over time the bull market wins. I always talk about different time frames, right? I'm 51 years old. I am the Chief Strategic Officer at T3. I am a founding partner, so I do have different parts of my, my payment structure besides being an equity partner, and also having a W-2 besides getting paid quarterly with a K-1. So every month, 401k every single month. So those of you who are watching, if you have a job and you have a 401k, make sure to max it out if your employer, matches it at least. Or if you don't and you have your own IRA every single month. Like, this is what has happened, over the last 100 years. Right? You have some corrective periods, you continue. Corrective periods, you continue. Corrective periods, you continue. This was the 2007-2008 crisis, which was probably the scariest crisis I lived through. But meanwhile, 5 years later, you're already at a new high. This was the pandemic, which is when we started the 630 Club, and I'm sure we're on our way to, continuing this trend over time, which means, you want to put monthly flows in when we pull in 10% or 15%. If you can put more in, you'll create your alpha. That's when I put my wife's blood on the street account to work. Then if you have a 403B, and then also a 529. Start when your son or daughter is 1. I started when Chase was 5. So I've had to play some catch up since 2018, that taper tantrum, and also during the pandemic, I upped my monthly from 500 to 750 to 1,000, and he still only has about 100 grand in there, and that's probably not enough unless all of a sudden starts scoring 30 points a game in basketball. No, I'm kidding. Then it goes for a down payment for his house. So anyway, this is very important, but this is, a different time frame. This is long term, not if you trade monthly for a living. If you trade and get paid monthly or quarterly for a living, you have to have your rules, you have to have your process, you have to do things to keep your sanity, claim it back, and follow your charts, right? And at this point, this has been broken, right? And we'll see now, does it open up and hold? Again, pecking order, NVIDIA, best in breed. Okay, looks like it's opening above 568. We'll see if it holds it. If you bought it yesterday on the dip, make sure to trim some and hold some. AMD was even stronger, following the technical rules. That's great. Okay, Microsoft, best in breed, holding the 8-day. As I showed you, Amazon, holding the 21-day. Google, holding the 21-day. Apple, hey, maybe a small double bottom. That'd be nice. It probably fills this gap. Needs some time. China finally stopped going down for a day, so maybe that helps. I've been accumulating the KWEB for March. I don't know if that's enough time. Gold, not great. Gold broke the 50-day, right? I have some long-term options on, which is a few months out, and I don't know. Just not enough power. Not enough power yet to get above and stay above this 191 to 193. It is what it is, versus premium paid. Lately, if you're trading, you're getting paid for day trading more than like trying to time things. So whatever that means. Yesterday, DWAC was actually probably my best day trade. Why? Because I remember this from back when it first came out. It was, whatever it's called, social something digital world for Trump. Trump won Iowa, and PS had a big gap up. I talked about this yesterday. Wide range candle, huge volume, open lower. So it was one of those names where day one you could have bought it red, trades through a prior high, and then squeezes. So yesterday, in the first half an hour, I was hanging around. I bought some, added to some, trimmed some. I was done around 25, and it was a great just one-off trade. And I probably won't trade it again. It's not really part of my go-to list, but every now and then there are special situations that pop up, whether it's volume situations or earning situations or new pro gap situations. And then, once the setup is a little harder, you just leave it. And it's the beauty of trading is you can make money in places and then you can be done with it. Or you stay with the sequence. Remember last year with Square in November, I started to, focus on Square. It's been left for dead right here on this day. Pro earnings gap. Some people like, Red Dog, what could ignite a new situation for a new sequence? Well, this did right there. Came up and then broke this accelerated trend line. And actually, little bottom tail yesterday. I haven't looked at this in a while because the small caps have been so bad and crypto's been a little in the corrective phase. But you got a little bottom tail for Square. What's Bitcoin doing itself? Well, Bitcoin, my watch list, you go to Bitcoin after a bit of a corrective phase when they came out finally with the ETF. This is actually a good little technical lesson, right? Every now and then Red Dog likes to give you a red school. No, I'm kidding. What the hell's red school? But they're like, how could you have navigated this if it was a stock? I'm like, well, it is. It's a ETF that correlates to Bitcoin that you could trade like a stock. Now, or with Beto. Anyway, here's a Red Dog reversal sell, pushed above 47. That was one way to reduce your Bitcoin. Then it didn't hold the 8-day. That confirmed the topping tail here. That was another way to do it. And then it came in, and now the longer it holds below here, maybe it rolls over for lower or it rebuilds and turns into a new channel. But either which way, Bitcoin's been very tradable. Sometimes there's action there. Look what happened here. Bull flag. Isn't that a bull flag above the 8-day? Another bull flag above the 8-day. Took out levels. And then rode the 8 and 21-day all the way up, and now it's below. So with that said, Coin, Mara, some of those that had negative divergences, let me show you what a negative divergence means. So here's Bitcoin making a high on January 11th, right? Was Coin at a high on January 11th? No, December 29th. January 11th, it couldn't make a new high right here. So that's a negative divergence with something that's supposed to be following Bitcoin very close. That gave you some clues to be careful as it made a lower high. And now it's trying to bang out a little bit of a low here. Maybe it has some room towards the 8-day. But that's how you read technicals, but it takes time to learn so many different things. Things is very sophisticated, right? Get above, stay above is a thing. That means there's going to be momentum. Get below and stay below means there's going to be pressure. Get above and not hold means not enough momentum. Get below and come back above means relieve pressure. Hey, I didn't go to Harvard or Yale. I'm friggin' just a guy that has routine and process and tries to help you guys learn yours. Do what you got to do to make yourself happy, and we'll do what we got to do to keep moving forward here. Let's see if this is still on. Is this on still? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Turn that off. Let's see. Boom, boom. There we go. Oh, maybe I'm not off yet.